region. With us is Faysal Itani. He's Deputy Head of the Middle East Forecasting at Exclusive Analysis. Faysal, thank you so much for joining us. It seems that actually the situation will take a while to calm down. Yesterday we had President Mubarak saying that he's not going to seek a second election, but the people really want him to go as soon as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's a piecemeal concession he's been making them over the past week. He doesn't seem to realize he's negotiating from a position of weakness. The protesters want to see him gone. They want to see basically the whole political elite surrounding him gone along with him. He seems to think time is on his side. The military has essentially said they are not going to deploy in the streets and use force against protesters. So his days are numbered. I think he's seeking a dignified exit. The longer he waits, the less dignified his exit will be. But we would probably give him about 30 days or so. 30
days from now. Faysal, it does seem that, over the last couple of days, it's not only Egypt we've seen. It started with Tunisia, but also now Yemen saying that the president won't seek re-election. Are we going to hear more and more of this? Is the whole region going to change?
It's possible in some places, less likely in others. Yemen is one of the key examples that you cited, but the problem with Yemen is not just the president, it's the country itself is fractured, it's facing multiple insurgencies, removal of President Saleh, and much less his vow not to run again for elections in 2013 is not going to be enough anyway to stabilize the situation there. It's not clear that whatever leadership replaces him will be able to stabilize the country, but they are more likely to be able to deal with the separate insurgencies, strike deals with some of them, perhaps put the country in a better security situation.
Who will replace President Mubarak? This is something that, of course, we've been talking about the last couple of days, and it's very uncertain who can take his place and whether this country will fall into more radical arms.
The most likely scenario that we think is going to play itself out is some sort of power-sharing agreement struck between the senior military, which receives strong U.S. Political and financial support, and the Muslim Brotherhood-led opposition, really. Any kind of political agreement will have to make space for the Muslim Brotherhood. Doesn't mean they're going to rule the country, but it does mean they will have a political voice. They will have a say in how the country is governed. So probably you might see some sort of de facto alliance where the military is containing the Brotherhood politically, still controls the security situation in the country. And that's probably the most likely way forward.
What does it mean for countries like Algeria? They have huge oil reserves, and if they go into protest, it will also have a wider impact for global markets. Is this something that looks more and more likely, given the fact that we're hearing what's happening in Yemen and elsewhere?
Yes, it is likely in Algeria, absolutely. I mean, Algeria faces many of the same problems that Egypt does. The only difference is really that the popular anger is not centered so much on President Bouteflika himself, and that the army is already in de facto control of the country. It's not clear who could replace the army. They do have strong security control of its situation. Having said that, yes, it's going to see an increase in the number of sporadic outbreaks of violent unrest. Whether or not they dislodge the current regime, if you will, is a lot less certain, because there isn't really a center of gravity you can get rid of that you can replace quite easily.
Faysal, very quickly, you give 30 days for President Mubarak to have to step down. When is the region going to start stabilizing again?
Is the region going to start stabilizing? I think if President Mubarak does step down, it's not going to be a stabilizing factor in the region. It's rather going to encourage more protest activities. We're looking at Syria, for example, which has a large Sunni population governed by an Alawite minority. They would definitely be emboldened by something like this happening. Yemen, as you said, protesters are only going to get more emboldened. So, in fact, Egypt would be the beginning of a process, not the end.
Faysal, thank you so much. Faysal Itani there.